Okay, part 2, guys, starting with question number 4 from the 6 weeks test, says, which point on the number line represents the opposite of 1/2? Which point on the number line represents the opposite of 1/2? So this turns out to be an opposites question, which we know the opposite are things like up, down, left, right, hot, cold, negative, positive. So one of the things that you're looking at here is you see a fraction. Your teacher said turn them into decimals. 1/2 is the same thing as 0.50 cents. So you want the opposite of 50 cents. So let's look at what we have. It's a positive 50 cents. So the opposite of it is going to be a negative 50 cents. This is the answer we're looking for. Which point is negative 50 cents? Because that is the opposite of 1/2. So we need to know what these points are on the number line. E is at -2. So I know E is -$2. And I can easily see that 50 cents is not the same as $2. So no student should have chosen F. It's the first one out. So this one's gone. The next one, here's in the middle of 0 and -1. Here's in the middle of 0 and +1. And then H is right on the line. So H represents 2 or $2. And it's positive. So again, 50 cents is not the same as $2. So J is gone. Point H is gone. You're down to 2 answer choices. Between 0 and 1, you are going to find 50 cents. Between 0 and -1, you are going to find negative 50 cents. The answer we're looking for is negative 50 cents, which turns out to be letter or point F. Answer choice G, point F. Point G is 50 cents. Excuse me. But remember, we don't want 50 cents. We want the opposite of it, which is negative 50 cents. So H is also out. Point F is at negative 50 cents. So hopefully you did not miss that one. Question number 5. Before I begin question number 5, my eyes focused on these 4 fractions right here. And the reason my eyes went to these 4 fractions right here is because of what my teacher said to do at the beginning of the school year. He said, as soon as you see fractions, get them to decimal. Make them look like money. So before I even start working this problem out, I'm first going to switch them to decimals. 6/12 is the same thing as the fraction 1/2. And I have learned that 1/2 is 50 cents. 50 cents. Point L is at -11/2. So 11/2. Let's divide it and see what that gives us. 11 on the inside, 2 on the outside. Turn it into money. Bring up the decimal, underline the first one. I have 1 controller. Can 2 people play? No. I have 11 controllers. Can 2 people play? Yes. They can play 5 times. 5 times 2 is 10. Sister subtract. Brother bring down. I have 10 controllers. Can 2 people play? Yes, 5 times. That's 10. Sister subtract. 0. Brother bring down. I have no controllers. Can 2 people play? No. So I end up with $5.50. But it's a negative. So negative $5.50 for point L. Point M, negative 12 divided by 3. Well, 12 divided by 3 is the same thing as 4. And it was a negative, so negative 4. And then point R, negative 3 halves. When you divide that, you're going to get negative $1.50. So that was my first step for number 5. I saw that there were fractions there, so I instantly switched them to decimals. So now let's look at what the question says. Catherine placed the following points on a number line. So she put 50 cents on the number line, negative $5.50 on the number line, negative $4 on the number line, and negative $1.50 on the number line. Which point is not correctly placed on this number line? Which point is not correctly placed on the number line? Because it says not, turn our page sideways, and put a big not there. So that's going to help us when we come back and recheck our questions to make sure that we chose the answer that was not. So let's see. Point K. I want to know if that's in the right spot. So here's point K. We said that it's 50 cents. So I'm thinking to myself, between what numbers will I find 50 cents? Between 0 and 1 is where I'm going to find 50 cents. Between $0 and $1. So let's go to that on the number line. Let's find 0 right here. Here's 0. Here's 1. Between these two numbers, I should see point K. And I do see point K there. So it is in the correct spot. Point K is good. Point L, negative $5.50. So I'm thinking, between what two numbers am I going to find that? Between negative 5 and negative 6 is where I'm going to find negative $5.50. So let me go to that. Here's negative 5. Here's negative 6. So between those two numbers, I do see point L. Point L is in the right spot. Point M is at negative $4. So go to negative 4. Here is negative 4. Right there. There should be a dot that says point M. There is no dot that says point M, so this M is in the wrong spot. It does not belong there. The last one, point R, is at negative $1.50. That means I'm going to find it between negative $1 and negative $2. So let's go to negative 1 right here, negative 2 right here, and between these two numbers, we see point R. So R is in the right spot. The only one that was not in the right spot is that point M. So not in the right spot, letter C, point M. Not in the right spot. So it really helped out that I saw my fractions right away and I started switching them to decimals, because it helped me find the answer choice a lot quicker than just leaving them as fractions. Question number 6. Jenna spent $18 of the $20 her mother gave her. Which decimal represents the fraction of the $20 Jenna spent? Which decimal represents the fraction of the $20 Jenna spent? As soon as I saw the word decimal and the word fraction, I started seeing the notes that we took on the topic of free Dr. Pepper. And the reason why is because that lesson dealt with fractions, decimals, and percents. So anytime you're dealing with a fraction or a decimal or a percent, you're going to write FDP on your paper, because this will help you get the right answer. FDP. So putting this on your paper is going to be a big help to you. Look at what it's asking for. Which decimal? So this is what they want. They want a decimal. They're asking you, which decimal? So if they want a decimal, you first have to start by giving them a fraction. You have to start there with a fraction. So now I'm going to look at the problem. The only thing is, I don't see any fractions there. So because there are no fractions there, that means I have to come up with my own fraction. And in order to come up with your own fraction, you guys have to know what a fraction represents in the real world, not numerator over denominator. In the real world, a fraction is represented by this. The bottom of every fraction that you see represents the total. Of every fraction you see, the bottom is the total. The top part of every fraction that you have is what you want, what the question is asking you for, what it wants, or what you have. So let's see if we can create a fraction based off what we know a fraction is. So, do I know the total amount of money that Jenna had? Yes. Jenna spent 18 of the $20 her mother gave her. So, her total was 20. What does this problem want? Which decimal represents the fraction of the $20 Jenna spent? What it wants is the one that she spent. How much did she spend? She spent 18. So if you understand what a fraction is, that's why this is super important. If you know what a fraction looks like, you can create your own fractions. So you have now gotten a fraction. Let's now switch it to a decimal, because that's what the question asked us for, a decimal. So we're going to put 18 on the inside, 20 on the outside. Turn it into money. Bring up the decimal. Underline the first number. I have one controller. Can 20 people play? No. 18 controllers. Can 20 people play? No. 180 controllers. Can 20 people play? Yeah. They can play 9 times. 20 times 9 is 180. Sisters subtract. Nothing left over. Brother, bring down. I have no controllers. Can 20 people play? No. We end up with an answer, or a decimal, of 90 cents, which is answer choice G.